All right. Hi, Catherine. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Did you enjoy your Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, it was so great. I went to the beach, relaxed. It's wonderful.
Nice. And your students just came back yesterday or Tuesday, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Did you do anything fun? Like, did you get to relax? All that good stuff.
And over the summer, yeah. I went on vacation and I didn't take any summer jobs, so obviously it was great.
Very, very good choice. And your classroom's all set up. You're good to go there.
Yeah, as much as it can be for now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How are things going so far in the classroom?
Pretty good. Yeah, I feel like it pretty good for the first week. Um, Obviously, like for the reason you're here, but we've really been having a hard time with Priscilla. Yeah, I don't know if it's something about like coming off of the summer, but
Mhm.
yeah, she's really been having a hard time.
Yes, yes, I've heard a couple things. I know that she's new to your room this year, but you have a couple returning students, right?
Yeah, and they've
Okay.
actually been pretty helpful
Okay.
with her, which is
With her,
nice.
good. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Um, so let's talk about Priscilla some. I know, like I said, that she's new. She's been at the school for a long time, but new to you. And so, what does like a day? Well, what area of the day do you think she is struggling the most? Because I know she's still establishing her routine. So
Yeah.
I don't want to ask you specifically what her whole day looks like, but if you could pinpoint like one area of the day that's toughest for her, what would you say?
So we have our students switch classes for a few periods a day to go to gen ed classes. They do,
Okay.
yeah, they take gym with the gen ed students, lunch, and whatever special they have. I think Priscilla's in art right now.
Okay.
So, yeah, during those times, they have to obviously leave my classroom. And that's when I see it a lot. And I also have heard from those other teachers that when she has to come back to the classroom, is also a bit of a problem.
Oh, okay. So coming back from, well, she's only been in art, I guess, so far, right? But
Mhm.
so it's definitely just getting her back into the classroom.
Yeah, leaving it and getting back in. Just really any time that she has to make those transitions. She's a lot of verbal protests and
Okay,
things
gotcha,
to learn.
gotcha. Well, let's rewind for a second. Before we talked about, what she's struggling with. I wanted to know, like, what are some things that you've noticed so far about her that like she's good at, that she enjoys, that kind of stuff.
Well, Priscilla is extremely smart.
Mhm.
Her reading skills like surpass that of a 14-year-old. They surpass mine,
Wow.
honestly. She's really intelligent and she's really, really focused when, we do independent work. She
Okay.
really doesn't need any like help or prompting. She just goes straight through it, which is really awesome and
Wow.
sets a really good example in our classroom. Yeah.
Very great. That's awesome news. Um, so yeah, if Priscilla does walk into a room, like what would you think? What does she like? Does she interact with her peers at all? Do you kind of have to facilitate those interactions with her? Or what does that look like?
It depends. She definitely, I guess, some of the kids in our classroom she has known for the past few years, so she's really comfortable with them, and she'll interact to a certain extent. But a lot of the time, she kind of wants like her headphones on. She listens to music. I mean,
Okay.
she's a teenager,
Okay.
so part of it, I'm sure, is pretty common, but yeah, she'll engage when she wants to, but sometimes she does need some prompting to like do cooperative stuff.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So now switching back to art, you said that just like leaving one situation or leaving one room and going to the other is where she's really struggling right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what does that look like for her? Like, does she flop on the ground? Does she scream? Does she curse? Does she hit people? Like, what's her refusal to transition look like, really?
Yeah. So typically it's yelling, maybe cursing, but typically just kind of like a no at the top of her voice, screaming. She'll kind of like run in circles.
Okay.
But yeah, no hitting. She doesn't have any like aggressive behaviors at all.
Okay.
Uh Yeah, just like I would say just a lot of kind of like stomping and screaming
Okay, that's
and maybe some like running.
okay. And so when those kinds of things happen, does the class continue on to where they're going, and does somebody just kind of hang back with her until she's ready, or does everybody stay and wait for her to be ready to transition?
So for the most part, we have to move in a group. The kids that have a one-to-one, they can go ahead, but I'm not allowed to leave anyone behind
Okay.
or let anyone go by themselves. So yeah, at least like half the class would have to wait probably.
Okay. And then are there any interactions between like Priscilla and those students at that time? Or
Yeah, some of the other students will sometimes like try to help
okay.
and just be like, Priscilla, come on, you can do
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
And some kids do get frustrated and they're a little more negative with their feedback, saying, things like, we gotta go, like, hurry up.
Mhm. And how does Priscilla like receive those interactions? Like, does that seem to kind of get her moving, or does she react negatively to that? Or
Yeah, it seems to almost strengthen what's
okay,
happening. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, that sounds that's okay. Does Priscilla have an individual schedule that she follows during the day, or
Like a visual one?
yeah, visual schedule?
No, not
No.
yet.
Okay. Okay. Um, Okay, that sounds good. All right. Well, I definitely think that we can help you with Priscilla. I think I have some just different anesthesia interventions that we can kind of like set up and get in place before her, hopefully before the tantrum, before she refuses to go anywhere, before that starts. But before we get started with anything, I would kind of love to know a little bit more about how long she usually gets stuck in these certain situations. So, and you mean, do you think that it takes her like 5 minutes to go, a minute? Is it just a couple seconds before she's ready to go, or is it longer than those periods?
It totally depends, but I would say it's almost always a minute, but probably the longest one was like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome. Um, So yeah, I would love to go ahead and get started, like I said, with some data collection. I don't mean to put more on your plate. I know that you are so busy and you've got all those other kids in the room. You have thousands of things going on. But I think that it would be really helpful for me to have a little bit more information before we move forward, just regarding how long these are happening. So I think that maybe we could get you like a little timer to just kind of like click around or to keep with you at all times so that we can kind of start to see how long those are lasting, and if they're getting worse or better or what. And also for us to take a little bit of ABC data. Have you heard of ABC data before?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you're familiar with that. So I just kind of want to know like what happens, what is said or what is done, or what Priscilla is prompted to do right before these refusals to transition occur. And then obviously the behavior occurs, and then kind of what the reaction is. And that would be, from you as the teacher or the students or whatever that may be. It also might be helpful for us to kind of take note for where the transitionings are happening. So if she's going back to the classroom or to a specific special or to the buses at the end of the day, so we can just start keeping track of that kind of stuff. And then hopefully, yeah, we can get her to start transitioning with her peers a little bit easier. And that would make your life easier, everybody's lives easier, and then it would get Priscilla, back to where she needs to be, so she's not missing out on that instructional time. Because I think if you're stuck in the hallway, or wherever that may be, that's eventually what's going to happen. Is she's going to start losing out on that instructional time. But do you have any other questions for me at the moment? And then I'll explain to you what I'm going to do next. But I just didn't know if there's any other concerns with her at the moment before we proceed.
No, I think it's really, yeah, just those transitions.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I will make some copies of those behavior data sheets for you and any other staff in your classroom that might be with Priscilla when these things happen. And I don't think that you need to carry those behavior data sheets everywhere with you, but just if one does occur, remember to get back and kind of like write down exactly what happened by the individual who was in the situation at the time. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. We'll take a look at that. So I think probably, I mean, as much as you can get, but maybe we'll take data for like a week or two, and then we will sit back down together, and we'll see if we can get some interventions in place for her to help her move along with her peers better. So how does that sound?
That would be great. Thank you so much.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Catherine, and I will definitely be getting that information to you sometime this week.
All right, thank you.
All right, no problem.
Bye. That was perfect.
Wow, I was gonna ask you to turn your camera off or to turn my camera off, and I might have done better, but this is real life, right? This is what's gonna happen. So
you did perfect.
I'll definitely have one heck of a reflection to write, so that's good.
What are you talking about? You did great.
Oh, thank you. All right, well, is that all we need each other for? Do we have to do, we don't have to comment at all on the others?
No, I think it's really just we're writing our own transcripts and then reflecting on ours. So yeah, we're done with what we have to do together.
All right. Very cool.
Thank you for getting out of the way with me.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, like I said, I'm really sorry I wasn't as prepared. That's really how
you did great. I don't know.
It feel good to have it done.
Gotta stop beating yourself up. That was perfect.
All right. Well, yeah, is it okay to get you that link on Hangouts? Is that an okay place?
Yeah. Whichever is easier for you.
Okay, perfect. I will get that to you in just a couple minutes.
All right. Thank you. I guess I'll talk to you next week at our other group meeting.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. You too.
Bye.